Perfect. Well, thank you for those who have participated already in UAT. I know I've got a couple individuals out there that we're connecting on a side meeting to kind of look through some things together. So we will be wrapping those up too. Let me go ahead and share my screen. But what we're going to cover today is an overview of the feedback that you all had from Release 2 so that we can kind of speak to that different feedback. And then we will also go over Release 3, which is your next part of testing. Okay, can everybody see this one notebook here? If someone can let me know.
Yep, you're good, Kelly.
Thank you, Lynette. Okay, so what we'll cover real quick is just some of that feedback that you all gave, and then let me know if I miss anything in the chat anywhere, Lynette, if you could let me know. But right here is our reviewer check-in page. So thank you to those of you that have done that already. I know we've got a couple other people that'll be finishing up as well. But the main feedback we received from everybody was around the add customer page and the add referral page. So I'm going to take a quick run through of these different things. So Joel had some great feedback around the veterans options. So there being a none and no. So we're going to clarify that further. We're creating a user story for that to get that updated. So thank you for your attention to that piece. And then Joel, we also had, we were able to replicate kind of what you were seeing with the zip code entry where the cursor was at. So we're flagging that for some additional research to see if there's a way, because it kind of has like a masked data field there. We're seeing if there's a way that we can figure out how to prevent that from happening where it didn't go to the far left part of the box for you. And then along the zip code lines as well, we actually have a user story being created too to just give a little bit more context, as you said, around the customer zip code or the organization zip code. That way the user will know needs to be a customer zip code. And then we'll also look at adding an info bubble that maybe we don't have the zip code or can't find the correct one for the specific organization that you would use the referring organization zip code. So we're going to add some additional clarity around that. And we created a user story for that as well. Okay. And then this failed to add customer one that Carrie and Joel that you guys were receiving, we have a bug card created for that. It looks like it was something on the back end with like the service finder. So we're figuring out where that broke down to get that fixed with bug 17061. So that piece is being addressed. Outside of that, we had a couple feedback items down further from Kelly, it looks like. This looks kind of like an isolated item where like veteran status wasn't showing up and things like that. I don't know if Kelly is on the call right now. Oh yeah, Kelly, I'm probably going to connect with you separately if that's okay for us to look and see if you're still receiving where the veteran status didn't pop up and not being able to do this drop down, because I wasn't able to replicate that, but I want to make sure that we get that figured out for you.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay, perfect. I'll reach out to you on that. Okay, so overall, some good feedback on that first page and things that allow us to both add some additional user stories based on the feedback you guys had and get a couple bug cards created to address that breakdown between the service finder that happened for Joel and Carrie. Any other things that you all would want to add here, or if not, I will move to this next page. Oh, Kathy, you had your hand raised?
Okay. I really struggled. So I'm very unfamiliar with this system. So that's part of the issue. I'm very unfamiliar with this process. But I spent a really long time moving around trying to even figure out how to get a customer referred in. So I think I put that in the feedback is I just couldn't even get to a place. I just kept going in circles. So I'm not really sure what this is supposed to look like because I really couldn't get through the process. Does that, and I'm curious if anybody else had that same issue, or if it was just me trying to figure things out and I wasn't quite where I needed to be. And so I'm not seeing anybody saying me too. I'm assuming it was just a me thing and I couldn't quite figure it out.
Yeah, well, Kathy, I had a little bit of the same issue. So,
Okay.
Yeah, but I might have been looking for the next step and this was really just adding a customer. So,
yeah, I was able to add a new site. My only comment on that one, I know we're not talking about that one, but I figured that piece out and that was fine once I figured it out. I just didn't understand why you needed my birth date if I'm adding a site. That was a little confusing to me, but I could never get to the referral piece. I just couldn't get to the right places to navigate through it. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that and try to give you more feedback, but I couldn't get there.
Well, so that's actually something that we should talk about, because you're going to have new career planners, or it doesn't even matter if they're new or not. This is going to be a new system to everyone. So it needs to be clear. The system needs to be user friendly and clear, so you know exactly what's my first step, what's my second step, what's my third step. So
yeah, and it might be really clear for people who have used this. I just couldn't couldn't get there.
No, that's not the point though. The point is it needs to be user friendly, whether or not you know how to use the system. It's even more important if you don't know how to use the system, that it's a customer friendly system.
Kathy, I think what we could do to make sure you feel comfortable and to make sure it's if there's anything we need to address, like usability wise, or making, if it's something that's not clear, I'd like to hop on a call with you as well, that we can kind of walk through what you were seeing. That way I can see where you were running into trouble, if that sounds like a good plan. Okay.
Yeah, and I think
I'm
the
happy to do that.
challenge is that, like, it's not like we're seeing the front end, like the front facing systems. Like right now, this is like more the back end, like the technical side and the internal facing. So it is a little bit difficult when you're trying to give feedback on the UAT side, because you're not seeing the system fully fleshed out and built out.
Right, because you're only seeing one piece of the system.
Yeah.
Right. And I figured there was something I was missing. I kind of knew it was kind of a user error. I just couldn't figure out what I was missing.
Yeah.
No, that's very helpful.
I think
that's
too,
exactly
what
why we do
Kathy,
this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Olivia.
I think too, what Kathy is saying too, definitely want to walk through it and see. But we have like a button that says add customer, and we can provide some more context on some of this page too, of like the so what, the next step of it all, to make sure they know to begin a referral, use this add customer button to get the customer in the system. So it's a little more clear, especially for people who aren't so used to our process of where these buttons are, is like folks in our system are like, oh, I know the top right is how I add the thing to get started. But knowing new customers are coming in, we can give some additional context, our users, some additional context to these pages too, to have a little more action tied into some of the buttons and steps throughout the process.
Yes, absolutely. And Kathy, that's also too why we have large, or a various amount of people in groups, some that like are very familiar with it, some that it's very new to, because that helps us make sure we're looking at the system in a well-rounded way. So your feedback on this is huge. That way we can make sure that those people that haven't used it before, or someone new to the organization, can navigate with ease of use, as Lisa was saying. So I'll put that on my list to connect with you too, just to make sure you feel comfortable and we can kind of look at the things that fell off to you. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. So I think this may have been you, Kathy, or maybe this was Carla, because Carla and I are figuring out a time elsewhere to hop on this. But this is good. There isn't a home button. That is good feedback. So we'll make sure that we can kind of clarify that. Okay, so next one. So not a huge issue, but when you reach the end of the select referrals, as you scroll down the page, it continues to scroll down. So I think we figured out what is happening there because it allows you to scroll down in the list. And then once you get to the end of that list, it continues scrolling down the page. So we're researching some different options there if there's a way to kind of freeze that. Next item of feedback we have is, let's see, Sarah was unable to move forward as she chose a referral that didn't have like a service or a provider to pick from. So let's say we didn't have someone for a food pantry, then it would show no results. So in this case, we added a couple things here, one being a user story with the ability to like remove a service from the dropdown if it's showing that it doesn't have a provider, versus having to go back to the original list. And then we also, based on Sarah's feedback here, had a good idea that we can add an enhancement for future development to like alert me when a provider is available, probably connected with like the service finder. So we've got those pieces flagged for development and user story. Okay. And then as we scroll down, we've got some feedback. I think this is from Jake. Okay, so you inputted services. You were missing someone because there wasn't a provider. Okay, yeah, we're adding the ability to remove services. And then also based on Jake's feedback, maybe showing a label of like provider available in the drop-down list. That way, when you're looking at the list, it would show you if, you know, a provider is actually available in that drop-down versus not knowing until you get there. Okay. We'll go back and look at that here in a second. Carrie, go ahead.
So I have a question in regards to that. I know that you and I had sat down and talked and we knew that the trying to appoint best was part of the problem. But when doing a referral, in our release one, when we built some sample referrals or I'm sorry, providers in there. So like Tri-County Opportunities is already within, but there were some areas too where I noticed there was either no service or no provider to select, or it wasn't like with what I built, I knew that that should probably show within there and it didn't. So what we built in release one, should we have been able to see it in release two?
Yes. So I might have to have you give me like the specifics on that one, Carrie, so we can dig a little bit deeper.
Okay, I can send you the two referrals that I had added during release one. And then, because like I said, when I went to search them, I couldn't find them. And, you know, my apologies, I didn't add that within these notes. I think I got caught up in our other issue and then forgot to even address that. So I will send that info to you.
Okay, yes, that would be really great. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so the next one, the list of referrals is very long. So what it's doing is, the reason we have it that way, just so you guys know, we're open to, you know, what you all would like in terms of the development of the list, but it will align with like IWS 2.0 because we want it to make sure that it is cohesive and aligns with that piece of the system as well. But one thing I wanted to bring up here too is that when you're searching for one, there is a search box here, but it wasn't super obvious. So if you are looking for one, just to make it easier of like, I know I'm looking for, you know, after school care, I could type in after and it would show me all of those different services related to that. Let me see if I can give you guys an example here. So in this case, if we clicked just like the basic one, it clicks all of them. Otherwise, we would see these little drop downs. So you'd have, collapse those. But then if I searched after, it would pull those up for me. So those are some options. And we're going to make sure that's more apparent with some like additional development in the system. But otherwise, had we used, you know, less of a drop down list and you accidentally click the little checkbox, it does choose all of them. And then maybe you only want to send this one. So that's the reason it kind of was like that at first, but we're definitely open to, you know, collapsing those if that's what the group would like.
So I made that comment. The one thing I was looking at is I feel like our career planners aren't going to look at the whole list.
Okay.
So I do think if it starts with it unclasped, so then they can when they do select it, it fully opens that list just like kind of how it functions now. That
Okay.
way they can see it. I think it's gonna be a struggle to get everyone who's filling these referrals out just to look at everything that's available. Just because
Gotcha. Because there's a lot in here. I see what you're saying.
yeah.
Okay.
I do wonder
Okay, we
too,
can.
if you like shrink that to what's available in that area, it wouldn't be quite as long of a list. Like if there weren't any, even though I do like the idea that you all had, that's like notify me when this becomes
Mhm.
available.
Right, or if in this list it would show you that like these three have, 2 providers, these 3 don't have a provider kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also wonder too, instead of having it be a drop down, if it was just on the page and then they clicked down, because now you're having like drop down and drop downs, which also seems a lot. I don't know if I was the only one who felt that way.
Yeah, or I guess I don't know if anybody else had that as well. Only thing with that is if, we're looking at like a multiple referral situation, it could be a very long page, but okay. We'll definitely take those items into consideration as we're taking a further look here. Let's see. Okay. So essentially, we're researching the best possible option for it to align with 2.0 navigation, also based on your feedback here a little bit, to kind of take into account, like Jake said, the career planner aspect. If we don't think they're going to look the whole way down the list, if there's a way we can kind of make that a little bit easier in those terms of finding all of those.
It's Carla. I think I have a different audio working. But
Oh, okay.
I guess one of my questions is when this is live, when we're doing the practice for the customer, it's showing referrals that would be out of my LWIB, which I do make referrals outside. So will there be a place where you can check which LWIB you're in? So then only those options will show up? Or if I'm making a referral to number 4, I can click number 4 and only those options show up. Did that make sense?
I believe so. Natasha, would you be able to speak to that with?
My concern is when it goes live and data gets entered, it's going to become very cumbersome to go all through a drop-down menu for everybody in the state that provides DHS services.
Yes, and it doesn't look like maybe Natasha had to pop off. But to my knowledge, and I can follow up on this, is we have where it's going to be more zip code based, so you wouldn't see everything in the whole state, more of local to where the customer is or where they're wanting to receive services.
Yeah, and
So,
Kelly, this is
go ahead.
This is Olivia. I 100% we are getting, Carla, we can look at like potentially to like showing distance to distance from to the various items and potentially some mapping. I 100% understand what you're saying. Like, how do I know which of these I want to send them to? So that's definitely something we can explore.
Okay, yeah, because I mean, most of the referrals happen within my LWIOA. So, you know, if there was a place just to click that, or, you know, to do one out, to click it outside of my area. But I think it's going to become very cumbersome.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at the terminology here, because this will be a larger referral system. And I know we know what LWIA is, but other people might not. So we might look at more of a general distance space with various filters for LWIA and EDR
Okay.
and other things, so that folks
Okay.
not familiar would have just like regular distance. But that's something we can definitely
Okay.
explore.
Perfect.
Great feedback. Okay. Let's see. These other tabs did not have a whole lot of feedback. Looks like they, for the most part, were working as intended for you guys as you tested. So, if any additional feedback comes up, and what we'll do, those of you that I'm connecting with one-off, we'll make sure to add additional things here, but we're getting user stories, enhancements, and relevant bug cards created from the feedback you are giving. So thank you so much for your participation in Release 2. And if you have not completed Release 2 and you're getting in there a little bit late, just feel free to let me know if you go in and add some information. I try to make sure I keep track if there's anything new added, just to make sure we don't miss anything. But if you are running a little bit behind, that's totally okay. Just let me know if you add anything in there that's that you want to make sure I see. But otherwise, I'll be kind of keeping tabs on this too. But I want to make sure I don't miss anything.
Kelly, I added some things today. I was in trying to maneuver around in it and was having some issues both with agency and the customer. So I have some notes that's not showing up.
Gotcha. Okay. And Carla, that was you, right? Carla?
Yes. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're good. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Well, what we'll move into next is Release 3. So Release 3 is more of you're actually sending a referral out. Okay. So as a reminder, I'm going to pull up the guide here. So this is our new guide. And this one focuses on sending referrals and responding to referrals. So you'll have some additional practice of sending a referral out. Expectations and homework. This is going to be due on 10/23. Actually, this should be 10/16. This will be 10/16. This will be due about 10 days out from now. But what we've got here, again, this is your referral system testing link, and you will use that test Carla T, test Kelly T, test Lisa J, and then your test password that was sent to you of test 2025. So you'll use those. And here's your referral UAT notebook. That's what we just went over with that feedback. One thing to note here, where is it? Is now you've got Release 3 here. So you've got your reviewer check-in, adding referral, sending, responding, and then some, viewing referral status page. So we'll go through that here real quick. And again, if you ever need an example of how to report something, you can do that from this section here. So this example issue reporting shows who it is using Chrome browser, relevant screenshots, things like that. So you'll do that Release 3 there at the top. Pull this guide back up. Okay, so again, just make sure that you're logging your entries. Let us know if you're, everything is helpful. Everything from, I expected it to work this way, or as some examples were given to in this round of like, it would be great if it did this. We were able to get some enhancement and user stories built out of the feedback that you all provided on Release 2. So as you can see, we take those and get those into the hands of our developers based on this process of UAT. So if you have any issues, definitely reach out to myself or Natasha, and we can assist. And then those expectations when you're in UAT, testing thoroughly, being detail oriented, and then we then take that information and categorize that into a bug, an issue, or an enhancement. Okay. So as you scroll down, it's going to walk you through adding another customer referral, and then it's going to walk you through how we can respond to the referrals. So, in some cases, I know some people were not able to like finish release 1. So as Carrie was saying earlier, like UAT was designed that if you finished release 1 and then you were able to send referrals, your name and your contact information would be showing in the drop down for like the contact to send the referral to. So let me walk you guys through this because this is going to be an important as you're starting to test responding to the referrals, because we wanted to make sure that we also left an opportunity, if that email wasn't in there, that you could still, test that next part without receiving the email. So as you log into your test referral system on your main page, you're going to see your list of customers here. I'm going to work with Harry Potter up here at the top. But as you log in here, you'll see the list of, his information on the left. Summary tools will eventually tie back into IWDS 2.0. But over here at the top, you have ability to filter now as well for specific services, referral statuses, things like that. But then you can also add a new referral up here if need be, or you can come back and look at some of these past referrals. So in this example, I at Carter Foundation am referring Harry to Natasha's Workforce Services. So when I click on this one as not started, you're seeing in this case, like we've got the referral in there, it just hasn't been sent over to the organization yet, or the service that we're sending to the provider. So it's flagged red that action still needs to be taken. But if I click into this referral here for Natasha's Workforce Services, as a reminder, in order to send the referral, you do have to have your consent status updated. So if you've already done it, it will say renew or revoke. If you have not given any consent status in the past, it would just say yes or no. In this case, my consent status is active. Down here on primary contact, this is the second piece that you need in order to send a referral to an organization. So in this case, it will show up for you the different types of primary contacts assigned. So this is what we did with, in the case of the service finder with release 1, when we went in and added our organization. So Natasha has some examples here of her own information of like test contact, but for a majority of the services in the system, I went in and added this a test contact. So this is basically built as a fake email that's going to allow the referral link to pop up here at the top without having to like receive an email. Okay, so since I did save for a test contact, send referral, it did pop the referral link up right here. And the guide shows this as well, but as you click on this, it takes you into the next step of, what that person would receive if they were to like get that email. I also have examples for you in the guide of what the email looks like. Go ahead, Olivia.
Kelly, can you go back? I'm sorry, because I didn't know how you got to this screen here.
And I want to provide a little context around this too. So we're playing two roles in this UAT. You guys are going to send another referral, just like you did last time. You're going to send a referral as yourself, your organization. And then we're going to put on a different hat and we're going to pretend wherever we're sending it to, we're receiving that organization. So you guys are going to be receiving and sending and receiving referrals. And so we are doing this UAT. We're looking at both roles. Last time we only sent a referral. Now we have everything hooked up, the first round of this for receiving a referral. So hat number 1, we're on this page. We are sending the referral. When you look at that primary contact list, those are the contacts you guys set up. If you set yourself up as a contact with your real email address, when you send it, you will get a real email at your email address that you used with the same link that you see above that allows you to go in and access that referral. We know not everybody got their accounts and everything set up. So we added this @test contact. So if you did not have a chance to set yourself up as a primary contact, we're not going to prevent you from being able to go through this UAT. You can still add a referral and add a customer and send referrals for them, but you'll need to use the @test contact primary contact. And when you do that, it was set up with email that uses fakemail.com, which flags our system to throw up like this is a fake email. So instead of routing an email to them to access that, we're going to throw this URL up on the page for you to grab right here. This will not happen in production. This is solely set up to facilitate a streamlined testing. When you click that link, you end up here. And now you're putting on your hat of playing the role of somebody accepting this referral. So, you know, Carter Foundation sent the referral to Natasha's Workforce Service. We're now Natasha's Workforce Service receiving the referral. So I want to make sure everybody's very clear on that. This is to give you guys the ability to kind of play dual roles and streamline that. Because we know in real life, you're going to really be doing this more from your organization of sending referrals to somebody else who's going to receive them and then receiving your own. You guys have questions on the use of either using your name with your real email associated or using the @test contact to automatically trigger the URL to display on the page for you.
Okay. Thank you for adding that context, Olivia.
It looks like Kelly came off mute.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
And then just one more thing on this page, and I don't know where this, like, I can certainly put it in the notes and the feedback, but on that consent status, that like that being a required field, yours is active because you made it active. But if you did not have it as active to begin with, obviously, like the system doesn't let you proceed. It gives you like an error notice, but it doesn't tell you what the error is. So from a system design or programming standpoint, if it could say why you received an error, the error is because a consent status needs to be updated or a primary contact needs to be updated. Just some context to what the error is would be helpful.
Absolutely. Okay. So let me give you an example of how this other one works. So one thing for you all to know is I did tie everyone's email to this specific organization provider, just so everybody was able to receive an email. But so if you see yourselves tied to this one, I tied everyone's here. But in this case, if I was going to send it to myself, I'd go ahead and send this referral over. Oh, I forgot to save it. So send that referral over. Now it's saying referral sent to Kelly Trimble, and I will receive that email that is going to do a similar motion here. Pull this up for you. And this is just a, stock email at this point. Just so you guys know, we can definitely finesse this a little bit more as we get closer of what the information and content of the email looks like. But in this case, it's saying, hello, Kelly Trimble. Carter Foundation has referred Harry Potter to your organization for X after school programs. In that case, the person, if they have their, hat on of who's receiving the referral and needs to respond to it, would click this information, click that link, which is going to bring them here where they can update. They're going to have that customer's information, and then they're going to be able to come down here to the bottom and say, okay, yep, I was able to reach the contact. I've got referral in progress. They can also print here if need be, depending on, so yes. So they'll be able to submit that. and then that will update successfully. So in this case, it will let them know your referral's been updated. You can now close this tab. And now when we come in here to see Harry Potter, we've got the different instances here of his referral status. But what I showed earlier, if you utilize the test contact, so in this case, when we have our active status and we have our attest contact here, if I send this referral, that is what pops this link up here at the top of the page, which is then going to take you to the same place. Again, as Olivia said, that was done to allow you to test outside of having your email in the system if it's not something that was completed before. But that way you could kind of dual role test both sides of this.
Kelly, I have a question, and it's Carla. So when this goes live, what about all the agencies that don't use iWids?
This is being built outside of iWids.
Okay, so what about, so this is supposed to be used throughout the state with every agency you do a referral to. You're going to make a request that they put their information in and access it?
Yeah, they'll need to be part of the service finder and have the services that they can accept referrals for. And then when you go to make referrals, they'll display in here and they'll have access to the referral system. We're working on like the dashboard part this sprint, but they'll be able to get notification emails and then manage their dashboard and be able to track the referrals they're receiving.
Well,
So
but
are
so
they
no,
man?
no, wait. No,
Yeah.
if they don't have to join the referral system, they can get the referrals via email.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's what I was trying to figure out, because if you have an agency that doesn't want to be part of all this, can I continue my referral process that I already have with my intake form?
Well, no,
No?
not once we get IWDS up and going. You probably can until IWDS gets up and going. But once it's integrated into IWDS, that's just
But
gonna
what if I have programs, for example, adult ed, they're not in IWDS at all.
Mm-hmm.
So are they going to have to participate in this referral program, or do I do referrals?
They're gonna get an email, and then they would email you back to say they've accepted the referral.
Okay, so they don't actually have to be in the system then.
Nope.
But they have to be in the system on the.
Well, on the service finder, they do.
Yes. So whoever is doing the referrals is responsible for putting all the agency's information into this system.
Well, I bet they're already in there anyway.
I doubt it.
Well, if they're an adult ed provider, they would be. You might have to update.
Well, but I'm talking, I just used adult ed as an example, but for community-based organizations, I would highly doubt they're in the system. So I would have to enter their information.
It's going to pull from the service finder. So if they're in the service finder, they're in the system.
Okay.
And you guys were responsible for doing that a long time ago.
That was before me, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes. So Lisa, you're 100% correct. They'd be in the service finder, and then, but they don't have to log in, after, they don't have to log in to be able to respond to the referral. Like Kelly was showing, it comes into an email, they click the link, they click the response, and then it automatically saves it in the system. And, the person that's sending the referral will get the update as to how they responded. And the person, the CBO or the other person that you're talking about isn't required to log in. They can log in if they want to,
right,
to have a full set of tools.
So if they don't log in, we we wouldn't have any of the feedback of a referral in progress, attempting contact, blah, 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 blah. We wouldn't have any
No,
of
you
that.
would. That's all what's done via email.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
It
they
might
get
be,
that,
sorry, go ahead, Livia.
they get this email and they just click the link. So their CBO's added, you send a referral to them, they get this email, they'll click the link, don't have to log in, nothing, it's a secure token. And when they click that, that's where the like referral received. They just have to click the button on what's happening for this referral, and that'll auto update in the system for you guys.
But they have to go in and click it. And that's where I don't think that that'll always happen. Because I get very little feedback when I send referrals out now, whether an agency has received them or not.
What we can explore some other options. But essentially at some point, whether we embed features in the email where they click a link in the email to tell us the status, or we direct them to this page for them to tell us the status, like at some point they will have to tell us the status for us to like feed that back to you guys. And
Okay.
if we think maybe them clicking a link to come in here to do that is an issue, we can look at reformatting the email to essentially embed, like, here's a link to do it on the page, or you can like tell us below and it would have, not started, referral received. Do you have any recommendations or like?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have certain agencies that I'll get an email, hey, thanks, got it. I never get, well, I shouldn't say never. I do get some that says we've contacted them. But I have some agencies that I send referrals to that I never hear back to them, whether they've received it, whether the customer is going to receive any services. I get zero feedback. So that's why I mean, I think this will be great because then, you can kind of watch it and follow up if you need to. But I'm just saying, I don't know.
Well, and one of
That,
the things too is like the report feature might be a helpful tool because when you are having partner meetings, you can, really run the reports and kind of see how many referrals sent, what are the status updates, and also where are the gaps? Like where are you not getting responses from too? So maybe that reporting tool can also help with streamlining some of that communication and getting the follow-up.
Yep, and I agree with that, Kelly. I think that that's going to be one of the good ways to address it. And then I would also say, if you never hear back from them, then are they really a good partner to refer to? That would be my other thought about it.
well, I mean, they're community action agencies for LIHEAP and written stuff. So yeah, I definitely want to be sending those referrals, but no, I never, ever, ever hear anything back from either agency.
So question on that, if let's just say the career planner is working with this customer and in that communication and they're checking, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I am eligible for IHEAP and I receive services. Can the career planner go in and change this status update here?
Yeah, I was just making notes on that. I'm thinking that might be something we need to like facilitate, is to allow for that.
Mhm.
And even like on the reports, if you can export like, hey, here are all the people missing, and then like talk to that agency and they're like, oh, so and so and so and so and so are doing this. Then
Natasha,
the career planner could also update.
well, right. And Natasha, I thought it was being built like that.
Yeah, they should be able to update on behalf.
Yeah.
Because I'm coming from this as a one-stop operator, so I get referrals in from all different agencies and then send those referrals out to whatever agencies the customer needs services from. So, yeah.
So the referring organization can update on behalf of the referral organization when they learn whether through the referral organization or the customer, that referral has, whatever the status may be.
Yeah, we should probably put in there in notes, have them update the notes though too. I'll look at the mock-ups and see.
Okay. So to circle back, the important thing about this round of testing, as Olivia said, is we're testing both sides, both sending one and the side of responding to one as the receiving provider. So make sure you're using that either your own name if it shows up or the attest contact. And I've tried to make sure that majority of the organizations in there have the attest contact assigned to them. So that way you can utilize that as you test. Okay. Well, like I said, I will be, oh, yep.
Natasha or Olivia, I don't know who the person would be. When people, will the state and or local area be able to see the referrals sent and then how many have been, touched afterwards?
Yep, you'll be able to see in the dashboard with all the different responses. So, as a state, you'll be able to see everything. As like, your LWIA person, you'd be able to see for your LWIA. It's all about the level of access you have.
Okay. So then Lisa, we need to, well, whoever is on from the state as well, we need to put that in policy that there's someone checking those numbers.
Yep.
Both at the local area and then regional and then some kind of state data pool as well from a service integration standpoint.
Yep.
That's it.
Perfect. Okay, well, I will get this UAT guide out likely tomorrow morning, along with just the information on how to test what I normally send out after we go through a UAT session. So I'll get this out to you all tomorrow.
All right, very good.
Any
Okay,
other
well,
questions or
yeah.
comments before we close out?
Yeah, I have a question. For those of us who had issues with the last one, is that still open that we can try to go back through it just to get it in, or should we just not even worry about that and just go forward?
Yes, Joel, it's still open that you could go in and like add your person now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're talking about last UAT where you added a
Yeah.
customer and referred them, that's kind of baked into this one as well. We've made some updates from like what we've learned. So you're going to be adding and then like accepting this time. So you might already hit what you want to retest this UAT as well. But if not, definitely feel free to go back and redo anything that you were having issues with if you don't hit it this time around.
Okay, thank you.
Joel, I think in your specific instance, you and Carrie had like the different like best ink Princetons, right? That like there were like 3 of them, and then that were
I
listed.
don't know, I just kept getting an error message and I just screamed and gave up.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure yours was like in this drop down for organization, it was like saying best ink dash Princeton, I believe. If you choose like Operation Blessing, the one further down, it'll go through. So that's
Okay.
one of the service finder connections we found that's has a bug card that's getting fixed.
And you're correct.
Okay.
There was 3 Princeton bests listed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And like I said too, feel free to reach out if there's any questions or you want to hop on a quick call. Typically, I'm able to like squeeze in, where we can hop on a call and go through things together just to make sure you don't feel like you're, running in circles or something and get you on the right track.
And Kelly, I'm free to stand for a few minutes if you wanted to connect.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, let's do that, Kelly. That'd be great. Otherwise, everybody else is good to drop. And Natasha, if you want to stay on too, we can go through what Kelly was seeing.
Sure.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
everyone.
Thank
Thanks
you.
all. Kelly T, I'm gonna jump, but I did add Kelly Doc's comment about those toast messages to the guy. I just went ahead and added it to the notebook, so it's with all your other stuff.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much.